KUAM TV8, first on Guam.
KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Hafa Day, I'm Matsuki Hirayama. Welcome to KUAM News Weekend Edition. We hope you're having a safe one. While the felony and misdemeanor cases are inching their way well into the double digits, this after only just a few short days into the new year. After months on the campaign trail talking about protecting the island, the Guam's Attorney General is officially settling into his office. He speaks with our Nick Delgado about what's being done to make the community feel safe.
Illegal drug possession, family violence, robbery, drunk driving, and even a murder. These are the magistrate complaints filed within the first week Attorney General Douglas Moylan has taken back the job.
We've got a problem in this community about catch and release. Big part of it is because of the meth addicts out there. You don't release a meth addict because the fact that you actually caught one of them and that they're going to hurt somebody else, and that is the history of what we're seeing in our community.
Similar to what he's already been promising ahead of winning the election, Moylan is well aware the cases with his name on the court document already resulting in the courts releasing defendants from prison.
This is the pattern that we're setting up to make the judiciary officials answerable to the people. I'm just an instrument of the people. I was elected by the people to protect them, and I take that very seriously.
A serious matter for his staff, who will now add on to the process whenever a defendant makes their first appearance before a judge.
We're now including the request for pretrial confinement. These people, when released, don't care about that piece of paper. The addiction has consumed them, and they're creating more crime victims.
And if criminals mess up after being let out,
we're going to take them to task. We're going to take that person back to the court and say, Your Honor, this person just violated your order. What are you going to do about it? Your paper did nothing. And that is, we've already set up the team for it.
To prevent overcrowding in the prison, he points to electronic monitoring.
Have the ankle bracelets forms be filled out, and until such time as the person qualifies, you keep them in, because you have to qualify for an ankle bracelet. There has to be enough numbers of ankle bracelets out there, or third-party custodian.
Moylan walked us around their offices at the ITC in Tamuning, the place he says still has many familiar faces from the last time he worked here. He adds his new government corruption division already actively working with the Office of Public Accountability. Still no word if he will continue the agreement with Guam Police to have an independent investigative team, or IIT, to look into cases involving fellow officers. Nick Delgado, KUAM News.
Thanks, Nick. While a woman who admitted to her part in severely abusing and starving two teenage boys she lived with is set to admit to the crime in Superior Court this week. 30-year-old Sherry Nata will admit to multiple counts of child abuse and felonious restraint before Judge Maria Senzon on Monday. Co-actor David Kitigwa pleaded guilty last month and faces up to 6 years in prison. Nata signed a similar deal, but it called for at least 1 year taken off her jail time. An attorney speaking on behalf of the teens told the court the children have lasting scars, adding Nata encouraged the severe torture. She will be back in court 9 a.m. Monday. The search for a gunman who targeted a Talafofo mom-and-pop store is heading into its second week. Investigators urging the community to help catch the robber. Here's your crime of the week.
The shelves have been put back into place. Q-Mart in Talafofo was back and open for business early Wednesday morning, the day after one of their employees had been shot and robbed. This bullet hole is the only evidence left as a reminder of what occurred. Talafofo Mayor Vicente Tarigui says this type of violence just doesn't happen in his village.
It's very unfortunate that this thing happened in Talafofo. Despite the incident, the village is still safe.
It was midday Tuesday. A masked man demanded money from the cashier before pulling the trigger, shooting the cashier at least twice. A store employee rushed to Naval Hospital undergoing surgery. Just steps away at the neighboring Paulino store.
Obviously, it's shocking, and it's discouraging.
Roland Quimbao is stunned over the events that occurred close by.
Made me think of how would I prepare, how would I advise my workers and things like that. I hope that young man heals up okay, and I do hope they catch the criminals, you know, and those who do acts like this probably need more forces out there. I don't know what is needed, but
something needs to be done.
Yeah, something definitely needs to be done.
The scene brought a large police presence to San Miguel Street Tuesday afternoon.
The professional workmanship on the scene, so go with her to the police department for the job well done.
The shooter was last seen jumping into this white Toyota pickup truck. Authorities only able to get that he was wearing all black. Investigators have not released any information on the driver.
For the first time in history, Miss Marianas has placed in the top 15 in a major pageant. Regional correspondent Tomas Mangonia meets with the reigning queen on Saipan about her story she made.
I'm hoping that with this win that it'll open doors for other people as well. People who are from the Northern Marianas or other small countries and small communities like us.
Miss Marianas Savannah de los Santos making history, placing the Sinamai on the Miss International map in their recent pageant in Tokyo, Japan. She was the first person from the islands to gracefully earn her spot in the top 15 in a 3-week journey with over 60 contestants. Over 30,000 online votes on the pageant's app helped place her at the top. For her, the crown comes with heavy responsibility.
But also just break the ceiling, break the stigma of how beauty pageants are supposed to be a specific type of way. You're supposed to have a specific height, a specific body type, a specific look. And so that's what made me really excited, just opening those doors for other people.
Her reign has always been mission-driven.
My entire journey, even as a contestant for Miss Marianas, was focused on being a voice for victims and survivors of domestic violence. And then when I started working at the Northern Marianas Coalition Against Domestic and Sexual Violence, I took on a position that really focused on sexual assault and abuse victims and survivors as well. So that kind of opened up my heart to doing work in that area as well.
She hopes to continue to be a beacon of light on every stage she walks on. Tomas Manglonia for KUAM News on Saipan.
Thanks, Tomas. And you can expect to see our island paradise featured in a Korean TV show coming soon. KUAM was there in Tumon recently to see the film crew in action for ourselves. The production including actors handpicked from right here on Guam.
I've worked with a couple of Korean and Japanese production crews before.
When the cameras aren't rolling, John Mute's job means fitness. But when it comes to films and features showcasing the island, he's camera ready.
It's a good time.
Kicking off the new year, John stood among these famous Korean actors, singers, and comedians enjoying Guam's weekend sunset at the Beach Bar and Grill, a group filming for a popular TV show at a familiar place, and cast to play a part as John.
So it was through social media. Usually it's more just like a network of people that we've worked with before. So I think there's no real agency or anything like that. I think it's just people or contacts that I've worked with before when these crews come here looking for casting.
He and at least 5 others from Guam casted for the job.
When opportunities like this come through, I always take them because I get to be part of some kind of foreign content that I may or may not see.
The TV show is called Torsing for Men, meaning 4 divorced men.
The first shot was just them having having their first sunset beach experience, and then we walk by on the beach. They meet a couple local guys and are make friends, and then they want to challenge us at beach volleyball. And those are the 2 scenes.
It airs on SBS, one of South Korea's largest broadcasting company, and on YouTube, some episodes reaching more than 1 million viewers.
They're asking us, out of us, who do you think's the strongest one, or the best looking, or the oldest? And that was the extent of our conversations. And they're like, all right, let's go play volleyball.
A quick game and cut, that's a wrap.
Well, Christmas has come and gone, and if you got yourselves a fresh tree, here's an interesting way to get rid of it. The Guam Department of Agriculture is taking those trees from January 9th through the 18th across from their Mangilaw office on Derry Road. Christmas tree chipping. You have options: turn that tree into mulch, switch it for a native tree, or simply leave it on site. And a reminder to please remove all decorations before dropping it off. And coming up on Weekend Edition, the Culture Club, and later, sports.
Subscribe to our KUAM News Digest, our weekly email newsletter with all kinds of information straight to your inbox. Just subscribe and we'll make sure to keep you informed and entertained with news from the KUAM News team, what to watch on NBC and CBS, and the latest promotions from KUAM Communications. Go to KUAM.com, click on the newsletter tab at the top of the homepage, register, and you're all set. Brought to you by Uno Go, Guam on Demand. Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
Hafiday, Guahan families! Are you interested in getting your Hunter Education certification? The Department of Agriculture's Hunter Education program is hosting ongoing in-person classes open to Guam residents ages 13 and older. You'll learn hunter ethics and responsibility, wildlife conservation, basics of firearm and shooting skills, hunting equipment and techniques, survival skills, outdoor field skills, and more. The class meets the International Hunter Education Association national standards and does not expire. Attendees must pre-register in advance by emailing jane.dia@doag.guam.gov. Student manuals must be completed before the class day. Classes are open on a first-come, first-served basis. Students under 18 must be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian. And if you can't attend our in-person class, don't worry. You may also register for the online Hunter Education Certification course by emailing jane.dia@doag.guam.gov. Safe hunting begins with Hunter Education.
Catch KUAM News Hotspot, a multi-platform news program broadcasting and streaming at 11 a.m. on KUAM TV8 Tuesdays through Fridays, with rebroadcasting at 3:30 p.m., as well as live streaming globally on our Facebook Live and YouTube digital platforms. Jason Solis features a blend of local, national, and regional news, plus lifestyle and entertainment features and extended interviews with top newsmakers.
KUAM News Hotspot is brought to you by Pacific Points, Do More, Get More, and Calvo Enterprises, Inc.
Properties in the Tropics is your weekly roundup of the hottest properties on Guam. Every Thursday, get a virtual walkthrough of homes, apartments, townhomes, and land available for lease, rent, or sale, with a breakdown of the most important info, including costs, features, and of course, location details. Watch it on KUAM News Hotspot at 11 a.m. on streaming and TV8, or catch the encore at 5 p.m. on TV11. You can also check out each installment on Instagram too. Properties in the Tropics is presented by Remax Diamond Realty. KUAM News, winner of the 2022 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Culture Club.
Welcome back. Let's dig into our archives for this week's Culture Club.
Ali and half a day. My name is Daniela Firamore, and I'm the co-owner of Villa Jewels. Growing up, Shannon and I, we were just surrounded by our aunties, and they always had beautiful jewelry, the Palawan money, and then also the woven jewelry. So Shannon, she does the clay stuff. That's where her inspiration comes from, is the money. And then me, just growing up seeing all the woven stuff just inspired me to learn that too. So we've had Alila Jewels for a little over 2 years now. We started during the thick of COVID, so that was a perfect time to start our craft and learn everything. But yeah, 2 years ago. The feeling of weaving, it can be on and off. Sometimes you have to have a lot of patience with it. I feel very relaxed when I weave. I feel a sense of ease. I feel like that's like the only thing I have to do for the day. Like I'll get done with all my responsibilities and I'll weave and it'll help me calm down and relax. But yeah. So we've worked on a lot of jewelry, so a lot of earrings and bracelets. Our most popular one is our small woven hoops, but lately we've been getting into more intricate stuff, something that requires a little more time. Not necessarily as easy to weave on like hoops, but something like some twisty earrings and stuff like that. And then also we will be getting into weaving like hats and stuff like that, or like water bottle containers, little baskets, some stuff like that. But yeah. So the whole process is a lot longer than you think it would be. We would have to go out and pick the leaves ourselves, harvest them, and harvesting is the first step to the whole process. So harvesting can take a couple months because the leaves have to soften up, because when you collect them, they're very hard. So you have to pound them and soften them. And then after all of that, you have to strip the leaves, make sure they're clean and everything. And then that's when you can actually start the weaving process. And sometimes if the leaves aren't prepared the right way, they can be very brittle and snap. So it's a long and patient process, but it's very fun. So the number one trait that all weavers should have is definitely patience. It's hard to sit there and weave for a while, especially when your fingers start to cramp, or when the leaves don't work with you sometimes because they're too brittle. So patience is definitely the number one thing. There's many times where I've lost some patience, from the finger crampings and preparing the leaves, so patience is definitely the number one thing you should have. I think it's very important to preserve the culture. It doesn't matter what culture you are from. I think nowadays people are moving on into new things, kind of forgetting their roots that they come from. And I think it's important for us to learn this culture, like for me, weaving, so that we can pass it down to further generations, because, it may not exist later on. They might look at it through artifacts or through history books. It's very important. Nowadays, I think that the younger generation is definitely stepping up to help preserve the Micronesian culture. Just with the little organizations that they're doing through, like I see weaving seminars, I see marmar seminars where they make their flower crowns, a lot of local jewelry being made, and then also just activists, fighting for Micronesian rights and the land, So I think the younger generation has really stepped up and looked through new ways in order to preserve our culture. Silong, my name is Denny-Lynn Gilmore from Mili Lai Jewels, and we are proud to be part of KUAM's Culture Club.
Sports is next. Keep it here.
What you need to know from the Northern Marianas. Follow KUAM Sinamay on Instagram for the latest regional headlines.
It only gets better with more. Customize and save with the fastest internet speeds in the Marianas by adding mobile, phone, and TV to your bundle with Business Bundles Plus. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
New year, new you, new adventures. How about a new Jeep to go along with it? It is the Start Something New sales event happening now at Cars Plus. Experience a new level of freedom and adventure in the new Jeep Gladiator. Or how about the all-new legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee L? The most awarded SUV ever now features a fresh interior design and 3 rows of seating. Call us at 671-477-7807 or visit our website at carsplusguam.com to get pre-approved online today.
Start off your middays with the menu on KUAM News Hotspot, your preview to the big news items. Broadcast on KUAM TV8 weekday mornings at 11 with live stream on our social media platforms, plus an encore at 5 p.m. on KUAM TV 11.
The menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
Join us in saluting those making strides and serving in our armed forces every Tuesday on the KUAM News Instagram account. These weekly posts round profiles of Guamanians receiving accolades in the armed forces, those stationed on Guam making a difference in our community, and veterans being recognized for their service. Presented by Future Smiles Orthodontics. Build a brighter future with a brighter smile.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Hafa day, everybody. Welcome to KUAM Sports. I'm Jason Salas. We are bringing you all sorts of stories, information, everything having to do with Guam athletics. And I'm joined by two very, very good friends of mine to talk about how you can make good on your New Year's fitness and dietary resolutions. We have, of course, Caleb Barreto. He is the brains and brawn behind Unified Fit. And I have not seen this gentleman in some time. So, Caleb, good to see you, bro.
You too. It's been a long time, and it's good to see you this year.
All right, so I'm definitely going to go get back in the gym, but I have also brought Dr. Natalia Faculo to bring in there to talk about making dietary promises to yourself. And guys, I mean, so Natalia, first of all, Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year, and thank you for having us. It's I know we've been talking about this for some time.
I know this is much overdue, and you know, in similar fashion, you know, so many people make promises or resolutions, and whether it's just for, you know, because they really want to do it, or, you know, because they're getting older and, you know, they're feeling social pressure, or they're just getting, you know, Instagram clout, whatever, you know, people make resolutions, they make promises, and they tend to like overestimate or overcommit themselves, and they're just setting themselves up for, you know, disappointment. Can you guys tell me, with your respective areas of expertise, what do you recommend people do to make reasonable promises and set goals that can be achieved, and, you know, build that confidence within themselves?
Well, first off, at Unified, we see a lot of resolutions, whether it's the New Year's or it's their birthday, or it's an anniversary. They come in with all reasons why they want to accomplish certain goals, and some of them come in with really grand goals, which is great. It's always good to be ambitious, and we try to like provide the framework and the roadmap to that. And one of the things that we find that is very handy is doing a lifestyle assessment to figure out what are some of their principles, what are some of their values that's going to affect the decision making. That way, like you said, with social media, you know, the toxicity of subjective mindset and trends tend to take over. And so if we get an idea on what is truly important to them, we can start making these smaller goals that we can eventually get these small W's that lead into large goal accomplishments. So first and foremost is an assessment, get an idea of what their lifestyle is like and what truly is important to them, and what they define as quality of life.
Okay, so even though on Guam we don't know anything about snowballs, because we don't have to worry about that, you're actually looking at like the snowball effect, and, you know, kind of have success breed success.
Absolutely. Like when we had just a recent client, they go, oh yeah, I have a wedding coming up, I need to lose 20 pounds, and it's happening next month. I'm like, oh, well, you know, for the sake of health, we're not going to focus on like the number on the scale. You obviously want to look good or fit into a dress. So instead of looking at the scale, let's turn your subjective goals into maybe something that's more objective, like focusing on performance. Because when we're not so hampered by what the scale says, we can focus on something that we actually have full control over, which is, you know, our daily routines, making sure we drink half of our body weight in water, turning off the electronics at whatever, like 7:30. For myself, I use an iPhone, so I use the Focus app for bedtime. So all of my notifications shut off. The light on my screen goes down to the yellow or the less blue light, I guess. So I use that. So, you know, if anybody's watching this and they're trying to get a hold of me after 7 p.m. and I don't answer, that's probably why.
Note to self, do not WhatsApp Caleb after 7 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. You know, some of these things help me create a routine that, you know, those are my small wins. We actually had a conversation last night. I saw her just looking, I saw her working across the table, and she was doing a lot of writing, and I was was like, wow, baby, it's 8 p.m. and you're riding. What are you doing? You should be relaxing. And one of the things she says is, goes, it's not something that I find pleasure in all the time, but I made a commitment to do this every year because it's going to lead to something bigger. And I was like, wow, you know what? One of the things I want to do as one of my resolutions is to do a little bit more self-reflective this year.
Well, there you go. Well, okay. So, for those of you who don't know, Caleb and Natalia are engaged to be married. So congratulations again. Super, super happy for the both of you.
Thank you. We're so excited. Can't wait.
And exactly. I mean, that comes through. And I think the fact that, you're both experts, in this field and everything like that, you guys can, play off each other, but then you guys can also, constructively critique each other. Would you agree, Natalia?
Yes. And, there's often those health checks, as Caleb mentioned. I call this health check because it's like, okay, we're working past 7, but sometimes it's not, to me, I don't consider it, it's more of a soul working. Mm-hmm. So getting down these fundamental, important values that will guide me, especially as we're in the new year. And Caleb just mentioned about figuring out what's important to you. And most importantly, what could be doable in this season of your life. So really taking the time and thinking it through, what are those things that are important to you, and then sort of balance it with that mental, physical, emotional aspect, because we find that, nutrition, wellness, physical wellness, physical activity, it's scientifically proven that it will help, with that healthy work balance life, especially with your mindset. And as you approach the day-to-day activities, you want to make sure that you're in the most optimal, that you can be.
KUAM Sports is brought to you by Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Don't need a work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa. Count on me, count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
Honey, do you want some milk?
Do you ever wonder how your favorite products make their way into your local stores? Most arrive on state-of-the-art Matson vessels that transport containers of food, household items, equipment, and supplies into the islands every week. Because we know that you depend on us, we work closely with our partners to ensure that our shipments arrive on time, all the time, so you can find your favorite products when you need them. We transport the region's most precious cargo that supports successful businesses and promotes a better quality of life for our families. Matson is proud to have been the hometown shipping carrier for Guam, the CNMI, and Micronesia for the past 25 years, and you can count on us to be here for generations to come.
How's the day? I'm Francis Guerrero.
And I'm Colleen Blas. Join us for another episode of Properties in the Tropics,
where we feature some of the most wonderful properties on this island paradise that we call home. Minago paaning Christmas and prospero año nuevo.
Have a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Start off your middays with the menu on KUAM News Hotspot, your preview to the big news items. Broadcast on KUAM TV8 weekday mornings at 11 with live stream on our social media platforms, plus an encore at 5 p.m. on KUAM TV 11.
The Menu, brought to you by King's Restaurant, always open, always local, and Ruby Tuesday Guam, home of the Fresh Garden Bar.
Finally tonight, your Kosom Creamery Birthday Club shoutouts submitted on KUAM.com.
This weekend, we're sending birthday love on Saturday to Emily Leon Guerrero Antalan, who celebrates birthday number 52, and to our #1 ride or die, the bestest wife, mom, and grandma in the entire world. You deserve all the happiness, peace, and love. We love you so much, says your adoring family, Jerome, Jenna, Elijah, Dre, and Drew. Then on Sunday, January 8th, Wyatt J. Sean Regis Babata celebrates birthday number 10, the 2-digit mark. Happiest of birthday wishes from the Regis and Babata family.
Thank you for joining us for KUAM News Weekend Edition. I'm Matsuki Hirayama. I also want to thank you for allowing me to bring you the news during my first official day as your weekend news anchor. And for more news, you can always check out KUAM.com. Good night.